Good evening and welcome to another edition of HGP Sport. For today, I'm JADON Samuels. Thanks for joining us. We begin the cast with some football news. Keeping the rivalry alive, Pele and Santos Masters played to a 2-2 draw on King Pele's 79th birthday. The match was played at the GFC ground on Wednesday. The details in this report. Started in the mid-70s, it was the clash of old rivals, Pele and Santos, bringing to life the rivalry in celebration of King Pele on his 79th birth anniversary, featuring several former national players. With the veterans on both sides finishing the first half without scoring, the second half saw a much up-the-tempo approach, but it was Molina Lewis managing to go left of the keeper, which opened Pele's account in the 30th minute. Pele would go on to make it 2 in the 40th minute, again off the boot of Lewis, also called bound to score, but despite his double, Santos registered the first goal in the 48th minute thanks to Michael Pedro, and 2 minutes after, Robert John Doe equalized, leaving the winner to be decided in another affair. With goals tied, neither of the teams were able to break the deadlock, reigniting the flames that would be contested next year.
Before the game started, I just feel that like I'm going to get a double or a hat trick, because I always, when I strike, my nickname is bound to score. So I always think I'm going to score, and this competition was my age group, over 50. So I feel good playing with some good players like Doherty Butts, Keanu Forrest, big World Cup goal scorer, Gordon Braithwaite. So I feel good playing among these guys.
Taking us where the journey began for both teams were some of the players from the mid-70s.
Pele was the man that inspired most of us of this age. Pele Football Club and Santos Football Club thrilled GFC. We have never seen the crowds whereby you had Sorpico the dog man and you had the horse guard keeping the crowd off the sideline. We had stands there, we had stands at the back, stands to the north. Those were the days when we enjoyed the biggest football rivalry in football, Santos and Pele. We could go back from the mid-70s when the GFL started, right up to the 80s, 79, and you could guarantee Pele and Santos meeting, like the media always before, the South George song Ball Weavers.
The sports politics, right? Santos, the young Santos had to get their own name. So the coach decided to name us Pele, right? That's how Pele came about. But after then, they had one cup that used to play once a year, called the Brazilian Cup. The Brazilian Cup. That was just Pele and Santos only, right? That was how the rivalry developed. But the oneness is still there, like father and son. You understand? But due to the influence of Pele, we produced the best in the country, right? Pele had about 9 or 11 national players in the national team, right? And that was all through the influence of the king, right? And the man, you know, if the country get more sports conscious, they would realize the value of the people that play here tonight.
JADON Samuels, HGP Sport. More football news. Northeast La Penitence and Future Stars shines on night 3 of the GT Bear Keep Your Five Alive showdown at the National Gymnasium. Stanford Howard reports.
The action continued in the GT Bear Keep Your Five Alive tournament with 9 thrilling matchups on Tuesday evening. First to take the gymnasium was Charlotte Street against the talented youngsters of Old School. But it was Charlotte Street's Wendell Wilson in the 8th minute who started things off, and by the 12th minute, Jack Hill Condon had double Charlotte Street lead to end the first half. With the resumption of play in the second half, the Old School tried their best as Jesse Spencer in the 15th minute consolidated one for his side, as the time kept ticking away as Charlotte Street held up their defense for the win 2-1. The night belonged to Northeast La Penitence when they dominated the Battle Yard to a 4-0 trouncing in the second match of the night. The boys from Northeast wasted no time in their attack towards the lackluster Battle Yard side, as Calvin Moore completed a double in the 1st and 4th minutes, along with Kelvin Moore in the 6th minute and Kyle Moffett in the 13th minute. While in the Game 3, Sophia A defeated Sophia B 3-1. In Game 4, which was one of the most anticipated matches of the evening, patrons were able to witness the Future Star boys being pulled over by Stabroek ballers. Despite Future Stars' early goal by Jamal Cozy in the 4th minute, Karen Solomons in the 6th minute, and a double by Daniel Rose in the 8th and 14th minutes. That failed to allow the Starbrook Ballers any substantial retaliation. They netted a late 2 goals from Mark Jaul in the 15th minute and Henry Sampson in the 17th minute, and tried to overcome the powers of Future Star, but failed to do that at the final whistle with a 4-2 defeat. Other results of the night: Alboystown lost to BV 1-0, Leopold got overhauled by Melanie B 4-3, Back Circle won via walkover, Gold is Money whipped Spot 7 4-0, and Tiger Bay upset Avocado Ballers 1-0. For HGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard.
Turning our attention to some cricket news, the experience around the younger guys to help them through difficult times is missing, says the Windies captain Kyron Pollard, as the Caribbean side gear up to face Afghanistan. The details in this report. Newly appointed captain Pollard has already begun highlighting the areas to be corrected in the West Indies team, with performance being the key factor. A vocal Pollard on a sports program in Trinidad this week said the assets of Caribbean cricket should be merged with the young players to help in their grooming. According to the skipper, Shemron Hetmeyer, who much has been expected from, but who has failed to consistently deliver, has been disadvantaged in the past by a lack of senior players in West Indies squad. In recent years, some seasoned campaigners have been phased out of the selection frame, with the focus placed on incorporating young players. Meantime, the six-hitter believes that the new selection panel of lead selector Roger Harper, head coach Phil Simmons, and Mile Bascom is intended to focus on the assets that players bring to the team rather than simply age. Pollard's first assignment will be leading West Indies in a 3-match one-day international and T20 series against Afghanistan from November 5 to 18 in India. JADON Samuels, HGP Sport. Still in cricket news, Jonathan Carter was chosen to lead Barbados Pride in the regional Super 50 games, which is set to bowl off on November 6. We hear more in this Samuel Gillis report.
West Indies left-hander Jonathan Carter has been named to lead Barbados Pride in the upcoming regional Super 50 in a 14-man squad that sees the return of all-rounder Kyle Mayers for the first time in 7 years. Carter has taken over the leadership of the unit in the absence of the West Indies senior players, who are set to leave the Caribbean later this month for a limited over series against Afghanistan and India. The 31-year-old left-hander is the most experienced player in an otherwise inexperienced squad, having played 117 List A matches and is just one of 3 players to have represented West Indies. He was the leading run-getter in the last Super 50 with 351 runs at an average of 50, even though Pride missed out on a place in the semi-finals. Carter will be joined by off-spinner Ashley Nurse and fast bowler Mingwell Cummins, both of whom boast international experience. The 2019 Colonial Medical Insurance Super 50 Cup bowls off on Wednesday, November the 6th, with the focus squarely on the 2023 Cricket World Cup. The teams will play 40 group stage matches in 2 zones in St. Kitts and Trinidad. Group A matches begin on the opening day of the competition and will take place every day either at Warner Park or Conary Sports Complex in St. Kitts. Group B matches start the following day, Thursday, November the 7th, with matches taking place at Queen's Park Oval and the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad. Each team will play their group opponents twice, with the 2 top teams from each group progressing to the semi-finals. The final has been set for Sunday, November the 1st, under the lights at Queen's Park Oval on Sunday. For HGP Sport, I am Samuel Gillis.
And finally in sport this evening, the Guyana Cricket Board Cricket West Indies Kiddie Progression 1 cricket for primary schools continue in Georgetown at the Thirst Park ground. South Rheinveld defeated St. Thomas More Primary by 11 wickets. Thomas More, batting first, made 64 for 9 of their allotted 14 overs. In reply, South Rheinveld made light work of their modest victory target, reaching 55 for 2 of just 9 overs. That concludes our cast for this evening. I'm Jadon Samuels, reminding you as always, say yes to life, yes to sport, and no to drugs. Good night.